For that, we put your hands into your laps and close your eyes. I will now ask a couple of questions to which I would love to have a very honest answers just by show of hand. No worry. When the first question is, who of you has thought within the past week about whether or not you are an emotionally intelligent? Now, did you think of it? Would you consider yourself emotionally intelligent? Please raise your hand if you do so. And who of you has ever worked consciously on your emotional skills? Thank you for sharing. You can now open your eyes again. Thank you also for being so very honest with me. Now, I will be honest with you. Emotionally intelligent is not necessarily my mainstream. When I make decisions, I base them solely on my rationale. Friends from school, here we do start with now, right now, they will be very surprised because I didn't even consider it emotionally as something and one be logical. I couldn't explain them very well, so I care. I never even actively thought about the topics until 5 years ago when I dropped out of a drug because of a burnout. It was then my very emotionally side was real, and while I really cried before, especially not in front of people, I just couldn't stop the tears from streaming down my face at the most media of times anymore. Several times a day, I went to the restroom, just my suffering, and that made very clear to me that I need to work on this issue. But now, what is this? This mysterious, emotionally and intelligent. When most people think of it, they stop at emotional. What do you connect it? I'd say it had a bad connotation, describing a person having or expressing strong feeling. And this connotation is also then therefore emotionally and intelligent, a misconception that I had as well. However, it is crucial to differentiate between emotions and the value of emotional intelligence can have, because emotional intelligence are something fundamentally different. It's the ability to identify and manage your emotional and those of others, and it's said to include three skills. First, emotional awareness to work other, but also to work the self. Second, the ability to harness emotion and apply them to tasks like problem solving. And third, the ability to manage emotion, which include regulating your emotions, but also calming down or cheering up other people. As you can clearly see by this contrast, very emotionally people not necessarily or automatically have a high emotional intelligence because they may only display their emotional freely without thinking about or knowing about why they have them, and maybe not even considering the appropriateness of showing them in respective situations. Now, lacking emotional and intelligence as the kid or teenagers meant for me that I would channel things like loneliness or fear, sometimes into regression. My family background, well, let's say, is improvable. So instead of finding the support I need, I rather get it on basis of, oh, don't be such a crybaby, than anything else. My parents didn't teach me the value of emotions. Therefore, losing friends or breakup would hit me harder than many others because I need for understand my emotion, know those of the others. Did your statement make sense? I found I'm not supposed to be feel that way because I've never learned how to deal with emotions. And with time passing, I realize I'm just one of many people have this stage. Have you ever thought about why people judge or believe each other, be it kids or at work or even in toxic friendship or relationships? And it can be anything, ranging from sexism to racism. It's because of insecurity due to a lack of emotional intelligence, because of it's hard to understand the difference between yourself and someone else, and it's even harder to connect an emotional level to truly comprehend when someone else is coming from. And the order to change that, we first of all need to consider emotion intelligence as a crucial skills in our society, and then also take the time to consciously work on it. Currently, we do need that, and we are also giving our kids, for example, the space to learn the skills. Kids nowadays, they are supposed to be good in school, do some work, play an instrument, learn foreign language, and maybe even some additional things. They don't get the chance to get know who they are, connected to themselves and to their emotions. And the fundamental part of being emotionally intelligent means knowing who you are. And for them to learn, we also need to learn about the face to be role model they need. Now you might be thinking, yeah, sure, but how do we approach this topic individually, but also as a society? And basically, it comes down, whatever things comes down to, we need to learn your skill. So when you learn a new skill, you first of all need to become aware of your incompetence and field. So I got there with my burnout. I'm pretty sure that you can manage them more easily, and then you work on the skills until you manage it to the level you want, and after a while you will even be able to find with our activity thinking. Take for example, you try the license after a while, you stop thinking, I need to be on the next key. You just do so. Unconsciously competence achieved. Now that tricky thing is to get from conscious undercompetence to conscious competence. And we do that by learning the basics of how car work and practicing. Though in the beginning it may be difficult to steer the wheel at the same time as putting the next gear, but after a while it gets easier. And with emotional intelligence, it's basically the same thing. So I try to compile my experience and came up with some six guide hopefully helps people to get more emotionally intelligent. And the first thing that we need to do, acknowledge our emotions, but not only as such, but it's something value because that's what they are. According to research by Antonio Damasio, people whose brain parts that responsible for emotions have been damaged and themselves even have a harder time to take rational decision. That how we are. And the very first